Hi, Jude Brace with UAM Football, sitting here with Coach Jackson. Coach, how are you?
Doing great.
So, Coach, what are some of the points you can take away coaching points for the team taken away from last week's loss against OBU?
Got to play for 60 minutes. I mean, we've been saying that all year. We're not the type of team that can go out for 30 minutes and play and expect to be successful. I think that we have to generate some momentum early in a game so that it can sort of get us obviously moving forward and playing as close to mistake-free as we can. And that is how we have to attack these last two games, this one being the most important one. But you look at the second half of the game against OBU, we played very well, did some really good things offensively and defensively, and it's frustrating because you're thinking to yourself, man, we could have just done that for 45 minutes of the 60 that we need to play, that it would have been an even closer game. I mean, it's 28-10 in my mind. Late in the game we had to go for it, backed up in our own part of the field and gave them a real short field for them to get that last touchdown. But look, I'm always proud of our guys, how hard they play. They're never going to quit. They're going to get after it. But I just want to be in position early in the game like we've done a few times this year and expanded on it as we went through the four quarters, and it's obvious that we're a better football team when we attack a game that way.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that one of my coaches always said that's one of those games where it just felt like you ran out of time. Mm-hmm. It wasn't necessarily that you flat out just got blown away. You just ran out of time.
Yep.
What is your message to the team for this week?
Well, again, like always, we got to play 60 minutes. I mean, it's one of those things when we meet on Sunday as the head coach, man, it's always tough after a loss to go out to the stands and try to get a feel for your players and see where they're at. And, there's times where you feel really good. There's times where you're going, oh, well, might have to do something to sort of generate a little bit of excitement to get through this practice. But, look, very seldom does that happen with our football team. Our guys understand that we have to go back to work immediately and try to get ourselves ready to go, whether it's a win or a loss. So, you can go back and look at this game and try to figure out some things you can get better at. And as a coach, if you're not finding anything, then you need to be undefeated and beating people by 50 every week. And we're not doing that. So we can always go back and find things that we need to do better at every position. Whether it's offense, defense, or special teams, we got to find the right people that fit what we're trying to do for that next week. And there's going to be guys this week that'll probably get a little bit more opportunities that maybe haven't had that many so far this year, and so I'm excited for those guys, and so there's a lot to get to do to get better, and I think that we attacked the week like we normally do, and had a great practice this morning. I think our tempo has been good this week. So look, our guys have worked hard. They have taken constructive criticism, and look, I think it's worked out really, really well for us this week, and we're looking to go to Arkadelphia, and we're up to the challenge, and we're looking forward to playing a really good football team in Henderson State.
Looking to that game, what is some of the biggest challenges that Henderson presents?
Well, just the tradition of them being a powerhouse in football. I mean, mentally, you got your guys, you go there and they got these great pitchers all over their field, all their conference championships, and hey, that's a big deal to overcome sometimes. And our guys need to realize that, hey, it doesn't matter. We still got to get in there and compete, and I think that's where our mindset's at. But look, traditionally they're a good football team, well coached, great players, and I think that when you walk on their campus, it's a campus that's serious about their football, and so that's one of the things that when you go into this game, and then obviously what we're going to be facing from the different aspects, whether it's special teams, offense, and defense. So there's a lot of things that we went through this week to try to get our guys prepared for. They've got some really good players on the football field, and they're sort of like us in regards to how it's been for them this season. They played very, very well at times, and then other times they haven't played very well, and that fits us to a T, And so there's a lot of things that we're familiar. I think they're sitting at 5-4 right now, and we're sitting at 4-5, and we're both trying to get through these next 2 weeks and something positive with it. So I think it's there's a lot on the line for both of our programs.
Coach, what are some of the advantages that you see for our team going into this week?
Well, I don't know. At this time of the year, you're always dealing with injuries. You're always dealing with guys that are even playing that are having bumps and bruises that they have to go over. But advantage-wise, it's one of those things. Those guys are working just as hard as we are, and so to say that we have anything one up on them and vice versa, I don't know if that's fair at this point. I just think it's going to be two good football teams getting after it on Saturday and trying to come out on the winning side when it's all said and done. So I think it's just going to be a really, really good football game, and I'm hoping that we stay healthy through that process, and that our guys understand that it's going to take 60 minutes for us to compete against a great program like Henderson State. So that's been the mindset the entire year, and it's been something we've focused on a whole bunch this week.
Yeah, Coach, so looking at the last question, the non-football one, what is your favorite family tradition?
During Easter, we play a game. It's called Pocking Eggs, and I don't know if it's a Cajun tradition. I learned it from my wife. Obviously, my wife is from Oberlin, Louisiana, and there's a lot of French Cajuns there. Her parents actually didn't speak English until later on in life, and so it was one of those traditions that we learned there, and it was big. And I think I've won it probably one time in the 30 years that I've been married to Patricia. William's the one that we have to watch because he has a tendency to cheat, to try to load the eggs up where he can crack everybody else's egg. But it's a fun tradition. We have a lot of fun with it. This past Easter, again, it was just something we did. We had Yohei, one of our trainers, came over for Easter, and he got to experience that tradition. But it's always fun. We always have fun with it, a lot of laughs, and it's something we look forward to every year.
Well, that's great, Coach. Thank you for coming on.
Yes, sir.
Now we welcome on junior tight end DeAndre Washington. How are you?
All right.
So, you went into the season as a wide receiver, and then going into this season through the spring, you transitioned to tight end. What was the hardest part about that transition?
I guess the hardest part was gaining weight, going to the weight room. Going to the spring, I was 210 pounds, and I had to gain 15 pounds to get to at least 225 going into fall camp. So the biggest challenge for me was figuring out what right stuff to eat, what not to eat, how much I need to eat, and getting the weight room and all that. So that was a big challenge. All the other stuff just came smoothly, but the main part was eating right.
Even the blocking? Blocking wasn't hard?
Yeah, but a receiver, I was good. I was decent at blocking, but yeah, that was also a hard one. Working with Coach Hill and all the other coaches, getting my steps right, hand placement, doing all that, and going against even bigger guys in my size, just getting that mentality.
Mm-hmm. So, what has been the biggest key to your dominant success this season? You got voted on, I know, by at least one of the D2 football sites as the number 1 tight end in our conference. You already have 6 touchdowns, and that's second in the nation for tight ends, and you're 4th in yards. What did you really work on or focus on to become that great?
Just trying to be not one-dimensional. Being a receiver, just really about passing, doing routes in this offense. As a tight end offense, you got to be able to block, be able to run routes, catch the football. So the biggest thing for me was still working on my steps. You can't be one-dimensional. I don't want teams going to he just gonna go pass, going pass the route. You gotta confuse them, messing up a little bit. You don't know what he's gonna do. He's gonna block or he's gonna catch the football. So main thing for me just staying 2-dimensional.
Yeah, I will say, being up in the box every game where I'm at, at the beginning of the season, it really felt like every time you were in, it was obviously you were going to go run a route. And I will say through the last 4 or 5 weeks, you really worked on it, and now teams don't know anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know the last week's game didn't go exactly how we wanted to, but what's something positive you can take away from that?
We never quit. Never quit. That's what I like the most about this team. We have each other's backs. So if something goes bad on defense, offense has his back, offense is vice versa. So just staying with it. Just trust the process. Even stuff don't go our way, adversity, we got to find a way to bounce back. Unfortunately, that we lost the game, but I seen not a quitting us. And we still fighting to the end. And that fourth quarter, it was 2 different halves, The second half really showed, really defined who we were. And we're not gonna let adversity define who we are. We know what we can do, and so we're gonna find ways to take care of business.
Yeah. So, looking forward to this week, what is something you or the offense has been focusing on, in preparation for Henderson?
Just staying consistent, man. Just learning, just trusting trusting what we got the game plan in Henderson. Henderson looking at film. They like to do a lot of stunts. They play a 30-yard sometimes. Like bring linebackers down, stand up ends. So we just got to focus on the game plan. Just figuring out what they like to do most and their tendencies and find a way. Just find a way.
Find a way to win. Our last question is always not centered on football. What is your favorite family tradition?
Tradition, I guess, is everybody's just tradition. Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving when all the family, when your family gets together in one house, eat good food and watch Thanksgiving football.
It's not a bad one. All right, well, we thank you for coming on. And good luck this weekend. Now we'll welcome on freshman cornerback Jimel London. How are you?
Good, how you doing?
So, you're a freshman. What's been the hardest or biggest adjustment, getting used to college football, from the high school level?
I'd say the biggest adjustment would probably be the speed of the game and the physicality. Like, the speed is way different from high school. Like, it's on a whole nother level, And, like, the physicality, it's tough. It's tough sometimes. And, yeah, that's probably the two most hardest things that I had to adjust from high school to college.
Yeah. So, what has been the biggest key for your success this far? Right now I believe you lead our conference in interceptions. I know you lead them in the interceptions for touchdowns, and you're amongst the top corners in the nation for scoring. What's been your biggest, factor into that success?
I don't know, just taking what my coach has been coaching me and applying it to the game, trusting the process that he's been teaching us. And I guess it's been paying off in the game. Real nice.
Is there something that, you worked on that prepared you to score? Because it seems like every time you pick it off, it's going for six.
That just come naturally, I guess.
Natural talent?
Yeah.
Last week's game, we discussed it a little bit earlier, but it didn't go how we wanted it to. But what's something positive that you can take away from it?
Ain't too much positive. I guess you could say that we ain't get down on ourselves, kept fighting to the end, and we ain't get down on ourselves. In the first half we fell behind, but in the second half we shook back. We still ain't get down on ourselves, and we battled the whole time. That's it. That's all I could take away from it.
Yeah. Well, looking at this week against Henderson, what is something that you've been focusing on?
They just they passing concepts and they passing routes, and I just been in the film room studying them, just getting it down packed, and that's it. Just focusing on doing my 111. That's it.
So you can score more?
Of course not.
Our last question, what is your favorite family tradition?
I'd just say Christmas. When we all go to my auntie house for Christmas, that'd probably be the funnest thing. A whole family there. Whole dad's side of the family be at my auntie house. A lot of fun there.
Good food?
Oh, great food.
Good time?
Yeah.
All right, well, we thank you for coming on, and good luck this weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank you.